Hey everyone. Have you ever slept a full night, maybe even more than usual, and still woke up exhausted, cranky, like you barely slept at all? Or even worse, you stayed up until 1 in the morning and you have to be up before 6. How do you get through that without completely falling apart? Today, I'm going to answer both of those questions with science, with a concrete formula, and most importantly, with something I've personally tested myself. We're going to cover 2 parts. Part 1 is the diagnosis. Why do you still feel tired even after sleeping a lot? Part 2 is the solution, a formula to calculate your ideal wake-up time even when you go to bed late. No pills, no magic tricks, just science. Let's get into it. To explain this, we're going to go a little deeper into the science of sleep. Now I know, the moment someone says science of sleep, it can feel like it's going to be complicated and boring. Don't worry. If you're watching quietly enough CH, I can promise you this. As long as you watch the whole thing, it'll all make sense. That's what we do here. We take the hard stuff and make it easy to understand. The first time I came across this information, I honestly found it confusing too. And I know exactly how it feels when someone throws new, difficult knowledge at you. Most people just tune out and leave, and then the whole point of sharing it is lost. So I want to make you a promise. This section is going to be easy to follow, and I think you're actually going to find it pretty fascinating. So stick with me. This first part is crucial. I know a lot of you are probably tempted to skip ahead to the solution. But here's the thing. If you jump straight to the fix without understanding why it works, you might end up applying it wrong. And that could actually make your sleep worse, not better. So please, once you start, see it through. We put a whole week into making this video. It's only a few minutes of your time. Every second counts, so don't skip anything. Alright, so to understand why we wake up feeling exhausted, we need to look at how we actually sleep. Most people, if they haven't studied sleep science, would assume something like this. I go to bed at 10 p.m., I wake up at 6 a.m., I slept straight through for 8 hours. Done. They think it's one long, uninterrupted block of sleep, and when the alarm goes off, they wake up. But that's not how it works. That's actually wrong. The human body doesn't sleep like that. We sleep in cycles, each one lasting 90 minutes. So the first cycle is 90 minutes, then another 90 minutes, then another, and so on. Each one of those 90-minute blocks is called a sleep cycle. And within each cycle, there are different stages we go through. Let me break down what happens inside each cycle, because this is the key to understanding everything. The sleep stages within each cycle are Stage 1, light dozing. This is when you've just laid down, your eyes are getting heavy, and you're drifting off. You're not fully asleep yet, you're just crossing the line into sleep. Stage 2, light sleep. Just like it sounds, you're asleep now, your body starts to relax and wind down, but it's still fairly light. This stage actually makes up about 50% of your total sleep time. Stage 3, deep sleep. This takes up around 10%, sometimes less, of your total sleep time. Stage 4, very deep sleep. This is when nearly every system in your body has fully shut down into rest mode. And Stage 5, REM sleep, or dreaming. Even though you're asleep, your eyes are actually moving. That's where the name rapid eye movement comes from, while the rest of your body stays still. That's the 5 stages of sleep. Once you complete all 5, one 90-minute cycle is done, and then it starts over. Stage 1 again, Stage 2, Stage 3, Stage 4, Stage 5. It keeps repeating. And if you get through about 5 full cycles in a night, that's 5 times 90 minutes, which is 7.5 hours, you'll wake up feeling genuinely great. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, wait, didn't you say you were going to explain why we wake up tired? Yes, and here's your answer. If your alarm goes off while you're in Stage 3 or Stage 4, especially Stage 4, deep sleep, you are almost guaranteed to have a rough, exhausting day. You might even wake up in a panic because at Stage 4, your entire body has completely shut down. Everything is at rest. Then suddenly, beep, 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 and your body has to scramble to restart everything at once. Your organs, your brain, everything. None of it was ready to come back online. And that's why you feel terrible for the rest of the day. Even if you slept from 10 p.m. all the way to 6 a.m., 8 hours, even 8.5 hours, if you wake up mid-cycle, you'll still feel awful. So what's the takeaway here? 2 conditions for a good night's sleep. First, you need enough sleep, ideally around 5 full cycles per night. And second, you need to wake up at the right time, meaning at the transition point between the end of one cycle and the beginning of the next. If you can do that, your day is going to feel completely different. You'll be sharp, energized, and in a genuinely good mood. What if you wake up during Stage 2? You'll feel somewhat tired. Stage 3, a bit worse. And Stage 4, that's rough. Exhausted, disoriented, maybe even panicked. Take a moment and think back. There's a good chance your worst mornings happened because you were pulled out of Stage 3 or Stage 4. All right, so that's part 1, the diagnosis. I hope you now understand why you wake up feeling drained and why so much of the irritability, the brain fog, and the bad moods in your day actually trace back to one simple thing. You woke up before your body was ready. It comes down to this. You got pulled out of sleep at a stage your body hadn't finished yet. Let me say it one more time. The 2 conditions for truly restful sleep are 1. Sleep enough, roughly 5 cycles, and 2. Wake up at the right moment, the sweet spot between the end of Stage 5 and the start of Stage 1 in the next cycle. That's when your body is ready to wake up. Everything is already starting to come back online, so waking up there feels effortless. Now let's move to part 2. We know what ideal sleep looks like, so how do we actually time our wake-up correctly? That's what part 2 is all about, the fix. Welcome to part 2. We're talking about how to sleep, whether it's a lot or a little, and still wake up feeling okay. Even if it's 1 a.m. right now and you need to be up before 6, here's how to do it. So, from everything we covered, the 2 ideal conditions for perfect sleep are sleep enough, about 5 cycles, 5 times 90 minutes equals 7.5 hours, and wake up at the perfect transition point between the end of Stage 5 and the start of Stage 1 in the next cycle. Now, luckily, there's a formula that lets us calculate exactly when that transition happens, down to the specific minute. Once we have that number, we've hit both conditions at once. Here's the formula. Wake-up time equals bedtime plus 1.5 hours times N plus X 1.5 hours. That's 90 minutes, 1 full sleep cycle. Multiply by N, which is the number of cycles. For a perfect night's sleep, that's 5. And then add X. What is X? It's the time you estimate it takes you to actually fall asleep after lying down, that tossing and turning before sleep kicks in. You might not know your exact X, but luckily research gives us an average. Most people take about 14 minutes to fall asleep. If you know you personally take closer to 30 minutes, just plug in 30. Let's try an example. Say you go to bed at 10 p.m. The formula, 10 p.m. plus 1.5 times 5 plus 14 minutes. This is 5th grade math, I promise. Multiplication first. 1.5 times 5 equals 7.5 hours. 10 p.m. plus 7.5 hours equals 5:30 a.m. Add 14 minutes, and your ideal wake-up time is 5:44 a.m. Simple as that. You've hit the sweet spot right at the end of your 5th cycle. Waking up then is going to feel really good. Let's try another one. Say it's 1 a.m. Plug it into the formula. 1 a.m. plus 1.5 times 5 plus 14 minutes. I'll skip the step-by-step this time since we already did that once. The answer is 8:44 a.m. If you go to bed at 1 a.m., your ideal wake-up time, the one where your body is most ready, is 8:44 a.m. Other factors like your circadian rhythm might still make you feel a bit groggy, but this is the window where your sleep cycle is in the best place. Now, and this is important, I'm not telling you to do this every single night and wreck your schedule. The goal isn't to turn you into someone who sleeps at random hours. The goal is to help you find your optimal wake-up time so you don't have to suffer. This is the best tool you have if you're stuck going to bed late. I know what some of you are thinking right now. Okay, great, but I can't sleep until 8:44 a.m. I have things to do. I need to be up before 6. Fair enough. I hear you. Let me adjust. It's 1 a.m. and you have to be up before 6 a.m. What do you do? Here's the thing. In the formula, I've been using 5 cycles as the ideal, but you can actually use anywhere from 3 to 6 cycles. 3 is the minimum, 6 is the max. Don't go below 3. If you do, your body will be exhausted regardless of whether you hit the right transition point because you simply haven't slept enough. Less than 3 cycles, and your next day is going to be really rough. Aim for at least 3 up to 6. So let's try 4 cycles. 1 a.m. plus 14 minutes equals 7:14 a.m. Still too late, right? Doesn't meet the before 6 a.m. requirement. So we drop down to 3 cycles. 1 a.m. plus 14 minutes equals 5:44 a.m. There you go. If you go to bed at 1 a.m. and need to be up before 6, set your alarm for 5:44 a.m. That's about 4 hours and 44 minutes of sleep, timed perfectly to the end of your 3rd cycle. Now, I know 3 cycles sounds short, and you might be wondering, is that really enough? Here's the thing. Science has actually shown that the 8 hours a night rule isn't universal. Some people genuinely need more. They need 6 full cycles to feel good, but others function perfectly well on just 3. It depends on your body. That said, for most people, 5 cycles tends to be the sweet spot, enough to feel rested, refreshed, and energized. So try to aim for that as your default. Use the formula, calculate your perfect wake-up time, and ideally train yourself to go to bed early enough to hit 5 cycles. And thanks to the researcher behind the 90-minute cycle method, the R90 technique, that's frequently cited by publications like The Telegraph, Nick Littlehales. His work genuinely changed how I sleep. And yes, I've had plenty of nights where I was still working past 1 a.m. But I'd use this formula and I'd still wake up early the next day feeling okay. One more thing before we wrap up. When your alarm goes off at the right time, don't snooze it. If you fall back asleep, you'll drift into a new cycle. and you might land right in the middle of stage 3 or 4. Then when you actually wake up later, you'll feel worse than if you'd just gotten up the first time. So remember, when it's time to get up, get up. Don't lie there and let yourself drift off again. Starting today, take 30 seconds before you go to bed to calculate your ideal wake-up time. It's a small change, but the next morning will feel completely different. More energy, sharper focus, and no more wanting to throw your alarm clock across the room. If this video helped you, share it with a friend who's always complaining about being tired. That's honestly one of the best things you can do for someone today. See you next time.